to This and That. I'm Dave Lees.
And I'm Jonathan Byer. Hello.
Hello and happy Pride Month. And for those of you who are new here, please subscribe below and smash that like button before we say all sorts of things that you may or may not agree with, but we hope to keep this conversation flowing. Yes, and ring that bell for notifications. So, Jonathan, there's a lot of little stuff going on this week, but I'm feeling the excitement for this next season. I have to tell you, it's a lot of exciting things just happening. We're getting ready for Yuna's show with Sandra Bezic, and unfortunately her father just passed away about a week ago. And
oh, shit. I didn't know that, Dave. Oh, I'm sorry
I will pass along. Sandra was taking care of him for a really long time. He was in and out of the hospital for almost 2 years at least. So.
Oh, yeah, that's okay.
We had a whole interesting discussion with her about the Canadian healthcare system, how much it's been like a godsend for her. So anyway, It was an interesting, different perspective from a different culture, because Michael Shannon is horrified as a good American about this socialized medicine. So,
well, there's pros and cons to both. I've experienced both.
Yes.
Both healthcare systems and both pros and cons to both.
Exactly. I agree with you. So anyway, lots going on, but okay, we need to give my mother a shout out, Jonathan.
Oh, she deserves it this week.
So
your mother, who you refer to as Debbie.
Well, for this show, Debbie, yes.
Yeah, that's it. Okay.
Not to her face.
You posted something about Debbie, and I was like, I hope everyone knows what that means, because it's so much funnier, like the whole all-encompassing thing. Yeah.
She made an appearance on the show at, what was it, Four Continents? Because I was filming at her house, because I go there for Sunday dinner.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. She's a big personality.
Well, the apple does not fall far from that very big personality tree.
That's what my brother-in-law says. He thinks that me and my mother are like twins, but people also think that my sister and my mother are very similar too, but in a different way. So
and then what's so interesting is your nephew. Mm-hmm. I don't know what the personality is like, but
personality.
He's a clone. It's literally your child,
but more heterosexual. Right? But
So different, but the same.
Yes. But at the same time loves music, yet also is doing all of the traditional boy sports and amazing at them. So
yeah, because he's wired you, so he's going to do all the things.
But also a total ham.
Okay.
But his brother is not. His brother's shy. So But anyway, so my mom goes to the book expo every year because she works at the library and she orders all the books and she loves it. This is her event of the year. She goes for 2 days every year, and she knew that Adam Rippon was going to be there. So I had texted him when she
I didn't realize Adam did a book.
Yes, he has a book coming out in the fall called Beautiful on the Outside, which is kind of hysterical.
It's pretty funny, yeah.
And she knew he was going to be there. He's quickly become one of her favorite gays besides Anderson Cooper and Pete Buttigieg. Adam is now up there, at the top with her. She got on the line early, because you have to get on lines to get the books from people, and you can get them to sign the different authors. And they were only giving out an excerpt of Adam's book, because it doesn't come out for several months. But she was the first one online. She walked up, she went right up to him and was like, I'm Dave Lee's mother. And he got up and gave her a big hug, and yes.
That's really, really funny. This whole story endeared him to me a lot more than he was previously. It was really sweet. He
was a big, big fan. She was just loving him. And then she wanted me to post it on everywhere. Post it on the Instagram, and she's like, where's everyone liking it? So if you see this, and if you see it on Instagram and Facebook, please like it, because my mom counts how many likes she gets, but she calls them hits. So she'll say, did you see I got that many hits on this? And I'll say, so please just make her life and
give her all the hits.
All the hits. Yes. And Adam texted and he said that, she has the kind of dedication that he expects from Elise, he said. And I was like, yes, she goes to the gym at 5 a.m. every day. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yes, she is.
Well, and in this kind of way, I do like what Adam is doing for figure skating, and that he is doing these kinds of events and is giving such a positive kind of experience for everyone. That's pretty great for skating.
This audience at the book festival, all these women were just in love. Like in...
Yeah.
She said that there was such a long line for him. He was like the mayor, taking photos and things with everyone. They were freaking obsessed. So...
Okay. Fabulous. I'll be intrigued to read that book. If it's more, because he's crossed over, so I can't imagine it's going to be that in depth with the skating. It's not going to be like a real, what I would want is a real hearty thing.
Maybe he'll
about
give everything. Maybe he'll give us skating and more. And
but
remember,
like
Johnny's book, I read Johnny's book back in the day. Remember, his had the ridiculous cover of him with the globe, and it was like glittery. He had some interesting nuggets in there about like pair boys that he had hooked up with that was like connect the dots and just fascinating. And if you know who he's talking about, like mind blowing. So and did talk a little bit more specifically about some of the skating, but Adam's celebrity really went, you know, Johnny had like a world medal and things like that. He did have a bit more to discuss that way. So, but I wonder if Adams is going to be a bit more generic in scope about the skating. I think his could be, it will gloss over some things. Like, I don't think it'll be as skating heavy as Scott Hamilton's, which I do think is one of the great sports autobiographies of all time. His book, Landing It, I think is so, revealing and just interesting about different personalities. I think Andre Agassi's is the greatest sports memoir I've ever read, but his was really quite good, the Landing It one, so I recommend it. I'm going to get the Amazon page up with all of our recommendations. I've been trying to figure out how to do it, and there was a whole... It's not as like straightforward as you think, but now I figured it out. So it's on my to-do list for the summer. So... what is your favorite skating book that's not a biography? I really liked The Second Mark, and I hadn't read it until you and Jenny did it, because I kind of glossed over it because I thought it was going to be a cheesy book that was just about judging scandals or something like that. But it was really knowledgeable, and that insight that they really took the time to research all three teams was really fascinating. I love that one also because it's about different cultures. So I love learning about what it was like in China, what it was like in Russia, and then, you know, Jamie Southern. And then Latvia even. Yeah. And what's fun when you read that book is to kind of do it. Maybe we can do a whole episode on the book. But the fun thing is that you have to go along and like watch the YouTube videos. You have to watch Jamie Salé at the 95 Junior Worlds because she's missing every triple jump, but her performance quality is zero shame, like classic Jamie Salé. As if she was nailing it. Yeah. Yes. Yeah. She is such a fascinating figure. There's like some it quality about her, and it talks about that in the book. I had missed entirely the 1994 presence for her in Lillehammer. It wasn't until we went back and judged it. Someone needs to commission like a junior Worlds from like 95. Any of the ones that Tara was at, for sure. But I'm also, have you ever watched the highlight reel? I don't know, do you know who Jessica Mills is? Yeah, of course. Yeah, so not everyone does. I actually... For Patreon, I'm going to release this. I had been planning in the summer of 2016 I'm very fascinated by the Mills family. I'm like, wait a second. Like, you had 5 out of the 6 people in the family were elite athletes who trained all over the country. And I interviewed the mother. I interviewed 5 out of the 6 siblings. I couldn't get one of them. They, like, all know each other, but they didn't grow up with each other, all of them. So it's like a really interesting... Pretty isolating, yeah, if you're all in different... But they're all super high achievers and relatively normal. And yet, the mother was the driving force. The father is a para-athlete. I don't know if he's a Paralympian, but he's a para-athlete. He had lost a leg, but skis, and they all started in speed skating. The brother Nathaniel was in 3 Olympics as a speed skater. Jessica was originally a speed skater, became an ice skater. Phoebe was a gymnast, medalist at the 88 Olympics. She then became a diver and got a scholarship in diving. Then she became a snowboarder. I think she runs the Snowboarding Association or is a judge, and she's an attorney. Just like a very high achieving family. So anyway. Isn't that insane? Yeah, like that's like, is it Jim Thorpe? Who was the guy who became like so excellent at so many varying sports in general? Like I can't imagine Katarina Witt turning around and just becoming an athlete of another sport. Yeah, I'm not sure. But some of them, you could drop them in any sport and they were going to be completely amazing. The other thing is that Bella and Marta were weird things where they respected certain parents and like would be awful to others. but they really thought that the Mills were like brilliant people. Like,
yeah, well, maybe like-minded in a way, in that they were producing products.
You know, he thought that they were like brilliant Jews. You know, they were like, yes,
they get it, they get it,
they get it, right? Like, but the mother was like, I talked to her, and she said, I never had any problems getting him on the phone or talking to him if I had anything to discuss with him. And I was like, I bet you did, because Phoebe she was like the hard worker, but Christy Phillips had all the flash. I'll link all the fluff pieces when I do it, because I've always wanted to like blow it out, and I was trying to get them during the Olympics, and I couldn't get everything done at the same time. But they're like fascinating and all very nice. But they were all different personalities, because Jessica's like a classic showgirl. She's giving us Jill Trenery, right? But when you look at the different fluff pieces, Jonathan, she trained with the Scottfolds in one of them. You see Evie coaching her. Then she was with Barbara Rolls. Then she was with Peter Burrows and Galina.
Oh.
And when she won the Junior Worlds, she was against Surya and Yuka Sato. I mean, come on. What more is there to love?
Legitimate.
And then she went to Galina when Oksana was there, like, the drunk years. And she was with Gordy McKellen right before he got banned. So really, there's a lot. Interesting career through skating. So
Correct.
Yeah, like the stories these people could tell. But they know.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
and did.
Anyway, I forget how we got on Jessica Mill. Oh, Patreon, yes. So we just posted our Albertville. It got rave reviews. And
I didn't realize how much editing you do on those. That's insane. Like when I went back and watched one of them.
Jonathan, this is like my passion project.
It's a labor of love. Yeah.
Because I want to share our love of skating with everyone. And a lot of that is like the fluff pieces that you grew up loving and the other things you discover later in life. There are two things that I'm really sad. My parents had all of my skating tapes. I wouldn't let them throw them out. And they were in a crawl space downstairs, but there was a flood. And there are two things, and I want to remember if anyone remembers this from the 92 Olympics, because I've searched for this on YouTube, and both I can't find. There was a Plymouth car commercial, and I'm dying to find this, because I wasn't allowed to rewind or fast forward the VHS tapes, so my parents would like put it on for me before I was like 5 watching these tapes.
Oh, okay.
So I memorized the commercials to like Albertville and The Sound of Music. There is a commercial for Plymouth where these two cars were like checking each other out, and they were like blinking and like opening their doors.
Isn't it a Dodge Neon commercial?
It might be a Dodge. I don't think it was the Neon.
I'm thinking of Lillehammer. Lillehammer was nonstop Dodge Neon, where it kept coming up and saying hello or hi.
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
But this one, if anyone remembers, they were like, well, I love your anti-lock brakes. Well, I love your this and this. Does anyone remember this? And like they would flash the lights, and I've tried to find it on YouTube, and I can't.
Okay.
The other thing was that my parents, randomly the night of the ladies, either short or long, or one of them, I think it was during the Karen Preston group, there was a speed skater from like the 79 and 80 era who went on to become a singer, and like an 80s singer with like the hair and everything. And she was like a background singer and then had her own album. And then she came back and won, and her name was Kathy something. And I think she was short track. Like she was definitely battling with Koreans, if I remember correctly. Like it was, I think they're good at short track. That was
okay.
Yeah, I think so. But if anyone remembers these two things, they had a whole like fabulous fluff piece on her, and I went to search it and I couldn't find the fluff piece. But if anyone has this or remembers it, please, like this is some of my love that I think the rest of you should embrace.
Get in on, yeah.
The West Nyack twins didn't have it up, but they had a half hour of the short track event from 92. So if you remember it, just please...
Link it below.
And they also used to have demonstration sports at the Olympics. Have you ever seen that ski ballet video that goes
Ski ballet from Albertville is epic. And I had so many friends later be like, I'm sorry, is this still a thing? Like,
it should be.
We would go. We
would cover it. It
yeah,
would be
intensely.
Up there. Also, I would like to have a TSL meetup in Vegas. I've never been to Vegas. We're going for Skate America.
I haven't either, yeah.
We're not going for a credential, Jonathan. We are going to go to every practice and film it, because you know that they try to be like weird about that. And
we will be among the people.
I want to be among the people. I don't really want to, like,
Yeah.
Okay. it's just like better to distance ourselves. Like I don't.
Bingo. Yeah.
Right. We do our work better that way when they have no.
I think so.
Because Jonathan, if they have no power over you, they have no power over you. It's fabulous, right?
Yeah, exactly.
It's a strategic decision. A couple of years.
And we can have like a fun time with like-minded people in a social situation where we're having fun while everyone else is like eating pancakes at a breakfast.
So this is what I would like to do. Yeah. I want to see some sort of show in Vegas while we're there. I don't think Celine is touring, but I've always wanted to go to the Celine Dion show. I saw her on Carpool Karaoke recently, and it was brilliant.
Yeah, she kind of made this resurgence.
Yeah. So when I wrote a piece on Stella Ume years ago, I asked her, I said, well, can I get quotes from you from different people? Stella Ume sent it out to like her entire email list of like other athletes and Cirque people. And one of the people that emailed me was Bill May, who is the male synchronized swimmer that I remembered from my VHS tape between like the 98 Dual Games, and we've become pen pals. And he's still in that show, at Cirque du Soleil at the Bellagio. And they finally allowed men to compete in synchronized swimming, so he still goes to the Worlds. He's like, basically like the Midori Ito of the sport. And he just keeps competing. And in his little Speedo, I'm into this, because I was fascinated by those synchronized swimmers in 96 when they were the different orchestra instruments. And then there's a documentary on PBS with the coach who seems like a real personality. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
She's our kind of people. And so is Bill May. And he said that we can go see him and visit. So I think that we need to have like a full TSL meeting.
It's terrible because, when you were first telling me about him, I just keep thinking you're talking about Billy Mays. No. The, what's the OxyClean, the guy who died from the,
no.
the ShamWow or whatever he was doing.
I'll always remember watching him, and they had him like doing oversplits in his house on the phone books, and I felt a kindred spirit. And I remember my dad going, well, I think he's gay. Like, my dad just being like...
I think so too.
I do.
I think you're right on that one. Yeah.
I think you're correct. And I think we love Bill May. So he's extremely nice and fun. So, yeah.
So we'll have to pad that trip with a couple of days. We'll
have to plot it out, okay?
Yeah.
It's us in Vegas. And do you ever see the Saved by the Bell Wedding in Las Vegas movie? Like, I want all the things.
Did you even have to ask me that? No, but I will be looking around for any sort of... Isn't the
Wait a second. Don't hate on Saved by the Bell.
Museum is here.
Excuse me. We're doing our tangents first anyway, but this is... I want to see Showgirls, like at the Tropicana Hotel. Do they do it over brunch? Because I would really appreciate that. Like having your eggs.
That gives you a full appetite.
I want to get all of Vegas in. We're going with the Schumann brothers. I want to see them drop like 30 G's at a table. Like I want to see like an old granny at like at the slot machines, like the whole kit and caboodle. Okay.
Right. Okay.
I want it to be like Sister Act, although that was in Reno. But anyway.
Dolores
other thing.
Cartier. Yeah.
We're dropping this today, and I'm also going to edit the Calgary Olympics, which I think may be our greatest Patreon episode yet.
That was a lot of fun, that one. That was an iconic event, and that's what was interesting when some of the people talk about like the boom of 94. I don't know if it was like Sandra or whomever we were talking to that was like, but if you really rewind it,
it started like 87, right?
It started by Calgary. Calgary was the first like epic one, and then Albertville was epic, and then it set the stage then for 94 to be so huge. But I'm giving her the credit, but she was saying that without those two, there would have been no 94 hysteria, So 88 was really fun to go back to. That Olympics across the board was phenomenal.
Now, have you realized that there's a Sandra Bezic renaissance occurring right now?
I'm here for it. Now, I have to ask you. So, do you want to jump right in? Is this a nice segue in?
Yes. That was pointed. That was plotted.
Oh,
okay.
Oh, sorry, Dave. I was like, wouldn't that be great if that segued right into? Yep, he's already on it. Mm-hmm. Because she did the flamenco number, right, for Fantasy on Ice? Or is that not correct?
That's not her. But she did do a Javier number. She worked on his beautiful Spanish ballad piece that he did at his show last year in December. And they're going to bring that show back. Javi's living his best life. He's doing a skating show with our girl Tracy Wilson. A skating seminar with Tracy Wilson, like a camp for a week. But my other Sandra Renaissance, there's so much going on. She's so busy. Her dad really did pass away, like, on schedule. She can still do Yuna's show. And then she has Battle of the Blades coming up. Think about, like, how much this woman has had on her plate. The last...
Right. Well, exactly. Figuratively speaking, of course, she's very thin. But but yeah, I would imagine, someone who keeps that kind of frantic schedule like that. I bet
because
that was
she was super busy, then she took a step back, and she did
what needed to be done. I'm identifying with her in this moment. Yeah, you take care of business at home,
but
and
she
then you come
keeps
back.
creating. Like, she is a creator. She can create programs, she can create shows, and it's always first class.
And watch now, because I guarantee whatever chapter happens next for her is going to be infused with a different kind of creativity as a result of this life shift.
Yes.
It will cause something to come out of her.
And her mother was like a big skating collector. Her mother has all these like old skates and Tyler Cranston originals and everything. Like, Sandra's mother was apparently very fabulous.
I love that. One of my favorite Tyler Cranston paintings, we should do like an art gallery review of all of them at one point, is the one he did in that Beverly Smith book.
Oh, yes.
Do you remember that? Like, that was one I actually, like, if it ever became available and wasn't absurd, like, I would have gotten, because it was all the characters. It was like everyone from Surya to Katerina to all the pairs and stuff. And it was in this like Sardi's-esque sort of group picture. Do you remember the one I'm talking about?
No, but you can find it and send it to me.
Yes, I'm going to find it and send it to you, because that's something that's really fun to me. Because it was right in the epic golden era of skating, kind of, in that late 80s, early 90s time period. And all the major players were pictured in varying outfits in a masquerade scene. It was amazing.
So I just had such an idea that what we should do for Patreon.
Okay.
While you were talking, it just like came to me, Jonathan.
I was inspiring, obviously.
I think that we should do an audiobook version of his books, especially the one where he kind of like talks somewhat shit on everyone. And
oh, yes. Which one was that? Strawberry? No, that's the show.
When I'm Dead, something like the really crazy one. He talks about like Katarina Witt and Peggy Fleming and like everyone.
It's literally like a gossip. Here's what I think about this person, and each chapter was named.
Yeah, and I don't know how accurate the book is. Like, I don't know how high the technical merit is, but the artistic impression is off the flippin' charts. Okay.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Agreed.
We should do 2 audiobooks. That one and the book on John Curry that got pulled from the shelves, I think needs to be out.
Okay, that was my question to you, because this was on Amazon for a while. I pre-ordered it.
Mm-hmm. It never came.
And it never ended up happening. It was like Ice Alone, or what was it called?
Black Ice.
Black Ice. And it just
I think Mark Henready may have it. He may be able to do his good Christian service and send it to us or something. We'll work this.
Because there's another one, actually. There's a delightful woman on Instagram who sent me a picture of Ingo's.
Yes. Does she write to you too, the woman from Germany?
Yeah, but it's only Amazon.de, so it's auf Deutsch. So I could read it, and then in about 4 months'
time... The woman who doesn't have a profile picture, but writes to us all the time, right?
With German news and German articles.
Yes, I love her.
It's very helpful.
I have no idea how old she is. Like, I have no picture concept of her in my mind. Big fan. Because she was letting us know about the Tatiana Flad book, that she says that, the Germans just don't care. They'll tell you the truth, like, in their book. So I want to know all about.
It's a very direct culture, I have found.
And Aliona is our favorite German. She's been a German for almost a decade.
Yeah, exactly. It's getting official. And they were coming out with a book, Aliona and Bruno, and that was going to hit the shelves. But that kind of immediate. Well, although she's so fascinating.
Tatiana Flad wrote it, and it's being translated into English, so that hopefully we can read it. And hopefully it's not whitewashed.
I didn't think, I was doing some research then afterwards, and it doesn't seem like the Ingo one is available in English. And it was from 2014.
But when the Tatiana Flad one comes, I think that we'll invite Tatiana on, and I think that we should have Aliona on so we can ask her the direct questions. And then we can have Aliona's cute, very nice husband on, because I think he's really softened her.
Well, and I would imagine pregnancy and a new chapter in your life, it all does different stuff,
Yeah. There's so much happening. I think we need to have an Adam book discussion. We can invite him to make an appearance. There's a lot happening, and we can all, like, hopefully there's an audiobook that we could listen to Adam read this on Audible, because that makes me, like, really happy. I listened to Miss Val's book on audio, and it was like talking to her on the phone. It was fantastic. So
yeah, anything that's so overtly conversational. Sometimes they're a little jilted when they read them, but I think he would be good at it.
Also, so Vanessa James, we're talking about Sandra and how Battle of the Blades is coming back for the second time. They've brought this show back twice. It's been on, like, long hiatus / canceled, and then comes back. It's being revived for the second time. And Sandra is the queen judge in glamorous gowns, like, looking like, basically like how Peggy and Dick used to look when they would commentate in the 90s and wear tuxedos.
Like it was a gala event.
Yes, right? Sandra as the queen judge at the table. She gets all of her favorite people in skating, like Renee Roca and Michael Siebert, to be the choreographers that work with these teams. We saw Katya Gordieva and Valerie Bure win. Valerie Bure is married to Candace Cameron Bure from Full House and Fuller House and, the Hallmark movies. Yeah. These are things you need to know, Jonathan, okay?
And Jesus. And
Jesus, okay? She has her brother who seems very gay but is very not, okay?
Jesus. Jesus. Okay.
All right. So Vanessa James is going to be on this show. Now, I know they've asked a bunch of people, but remember, Megan Duhamel got pregnant, and they probably wanted her and Eric on. They haven't confirmed if Eric's doing it yet. I could imagine one time they had David Pelletier skate with a female hockey player. I could see them trying to get Eric, but who knows what he's doing in the fall. But if he's working with Megan, and Megan's in Toronto, and I believe they filmed this in Toronto, I think that I think that they're going to be some sort of overlap. They're going to have Tessa and Scott as, like, guest judges. I'm sure Tessa will say everyone is wonderful. Maybe we'll get a couple interesting quotes from Scott. Tessa keeps getting more endorsements. She brushes her teeth with Colgate. She's a hard brusher. She said, I am too.
Okay.
I felt that, right? She also has MAC Cosmetics coming out.
Okay.
Yeah. Tessa's become, like, a real glossy star.
Is this the show that Lloyd Eisler got involved with that? No, that was an American one?
That was the one that Ty Babylonia was on, and she was partners with Caitlyn Jenner. Okay? That was Skating with Celebrities, and maybe we'll have to try to revisit that.
How did that come and go without... The only thing I remember that happened from any of it, I don't recall even seeing any of it, was just the Lloyd Eisler story about the ESPN news anchor lady or whatever.
The whole thing, I think, about skating and the shows is that it's really flippin' hard to figure skate. And the reason that Sandra's show works so well is that you have to have a certain level of skating ability to make it interesting to watch and a certain level of celebrity. And Sandra's genius was that she took, instead of non-skaters, she took hockey players and had them wear figure skates. And they're so flippin' strong that they can lift these gorgeous girls and actually develop some skating. And it's more interesting to watch that way. Because Johnny's version, Bethany Frankel really couldn't skate. And, like, it was hard to watch.
And then there's really nothing for you to do.
Yeah. It's, like, too hard as an audience member. It's not interesting. You want to see some... Like, it's funny on Dancing with the Stars when they can't dance at all, but you want to see a Christy Yamaguchi come out so that you can get behind it. So, and that's what I think made this show so...
Otherwise, I mean, this is... It's not meant to be an offensive term, but it sounds it, so just everyone calm down. But there's an expression in television, it's like a kick the cripple show then.
Yeah.
Where you're just looking at people, like, fail. It's basically then like an epic fail kind of show when no one has any ability.
Yeah, like that's why they have those plants on Dancing with the Stars. That's why you have to have a Christy because you're not going to become that good at dancing in that short amount of time. So you need someone that's either danced as a child or as a gymnast or as a figure skater that can do it so that you want to watch it. And it's not right, but it's okay. All right? So...
I got that reference.
Good. So, our friend Vanessa James, whose interview randomly gets a lot of views every week. It must be posted on some fan thing where they keep showing our interview with them. Like, it keeps coming up.
I have to say, my favorite part of that interview was actually when we weren't on camera. Because, like, even when we were just, like, casually having discussion with them before and after the show, because, I mean, he was a little shy about the language, I think, primarily. But he was fine, and she was just downright delightful.
Yes.
I adored her. And then she was sending us those texts of all of her jumpsuits from the closet. Because you kept being like, well, how many are there? And she would lay another one out and send another photo. It was really, really funny. She's good people, and I bet she'll be outstanding on the show. She's one of my favorite people to watch on Instagram. Her friendship between Morgan, but with May.
And with Guillaume.
Yeah. It's a fun little group of high school friends, it seems like. And with her and May, her dancing around and stuff. I don't know, there's something very endearing about it.
And then Fabian Bourget was redoing their number for Yuna's A-list show.
And does he look good with that haircut or what? I didn't know he could be so handsome.
And I've heard rumors that he's involved with, or was dating, I don't know the specific, with our favorite, costume-changing French girl. That was a thing. Yes. I mean...
Do you mean her mom?
No. No, I don't know how old she is. Anyway.
Isn't Lorene well, okay.
I think she's our age. Anyway, I think it's fine. Anyway, Vanessa James, going to be in Battle of the Blades, but it films in the fall. So the interesting thing here is that they're not going to do the early Grand Prix or probably the Senior Bs, which I think they need this break. But they're going to try to do the later Grand Prix events, and then, or maybe they'll skip one Grand Prix event, but they're going to try to do the two of the later ones, and she's going to try to film the whole season.
What's interesting is there are those skaters who come out of the gate at a high level. Mm-hmm. And we know that there are some skaters that come out of the gate, and we just have to trust that time and the process will start to work, and by the time they need to...
get to work. They peak.
Climax,
They peak.
Yeah. But they were ones this year, when they came out at Skate Canada, that was would have won Worlds, that event.
And they stayed at that level. And I'm sure the pressure built as the season...
It's too long to have to sustain that, I think. So that I look to those kinds of teams when I'm curious if they're going to be able to just drop the needle in the middle of the season and pick up. And because they're so good at starting right away, I feel like they might be able to do it, but I don't know when their prep time happens or what it's like.
I think this is a brilliant move. And because their prep time is now, this summer, these months, right? That's when you really do the bulk of your training to make yourself for the season. Except Sui and Han are always injured and come back later on in the season.
Right.
So they haven't... For ISU points, it doesn't really matter too much if Vanessa and Morgan miss this, one of the Senior Bs, because they've done full seasons. The last couple of years, they've banked those points. Sui and Han have not done the same. Now, Taras Morozov will probably have the most ISU points, but...
And just to clarify, the ISU points, the benefit there is really just in how your skate draws.
Skate draws.
Yeah, the starting one,
But because Vanessa and Morgan win the Europeans, and they have a lot of points. The thing here is that they don't need to do the Senior B. And the same way Hubble and Donahue were saying that they're probably going to try to skip it, to put more time in development. Well, when you are an A-list skater, that kind of is your right at a certain point, right? And I imagine for Vanessa and Morgan, they put everything they had, I think, emotionally into last season to win. And it didn't happen. And I think it could be...
It could have. And that's what's even tougher. And they really did put in that effort. They didn't... nothing that happened to me was because there was any error in the lead up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that must be a really difficult low, right? They knew that was their window for the Megan and Eric Gold, right? The Megan and Eric Gold happened because they capitalized on a post-Olympic year. Maybe the traditional teams are not peaked or have injuries, and they run, and you have to seize your Brasseur and Eisler gold when the moment happens.
That's
when
exactly
your window
right.
Opens.
Elvis Stoico, I quote this even in operatic stuff sometimes. He's like, you're only given so many opportunities, or those perfect storm moments. If you don't burst through the door in that moment, you're not guaranteed another chance. So I felt for them, but I'm glad that they had the World Team Trophy to follow it, to at least kind of end this season and be like, nope, it was just that one.
Now, I don't know if they actually could have won Worlds this year because of how well Sui and Han skated, which I don't know if anyone really thought was possible.
No, but a silver medal for them would have been huge.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I think that this is a great thing. Great financial opportunity. Mm-hmm. Great break mentally. Just to get out of skating as the pressure cooker. I think it could actually give them longevity. Right? Because, and this is a great time to do it, because if they are going to go for, 2.5, 3 years into the future, this is a good little mini mental rest. And then they can try to peak for Worlds.
And just for her, knowing that they are on the other side of sort of their competitive time, probably. Mm-hmm. I think it's a really smart move, because I think she is very marketable. Mm-hmm. I think she's charming. I think she's friendly. I think she's generous in spirit. I think she has something to offer. So I hope that this goes well for her. I think watching someone like her on a, let's say, Dancing with the Stars or something, she would immediately become a fan favorite, an audience favorite. And you want to root for her in a way.
Yeah, I think that they either should have done this or thanked Canada in the fall. Like, I think either one is a brilliant, make that money when you can.
Yeah.
Enjoy life. You don't get a million chances, especially with the sport as it is right now. If you can get those shows in Asia, you go do them. And you be interesting and you maximize. Don't Johnny Weir this and phone it in, okay? You build that career, okay?
Yeah.
You Christy Yamaguchi this, and you
I'm
win.
glad they called her.
I am too. That was unexpected and
fabulous. Because they could have called a few. You know what I mean? They could have called Julie if they wanted to keep it in-house. Julie Sagan.
Oh, Julianne. Yeah.
Oh, Julianne. Sorry.
Maybe they did. They haven't announced the whole cast yet. So I know they went for different people, but I thought that was a really great move. Now, the thing is that Morgan is going to go up and be like their coach. So he'll still work with Vanessa, and I'm sure they will train. And I was wondering, maybe Bruno and Megan will, make a little appearance. Because they've trained with them before. John Zimmerman obviously can't be there all the time. And maybe...
And may not need to be there all the time. That's the thing, yeah.
Yeah. So I think people...
Exciting.
People at their high level can kind of train themselves a bit, obviously,
and at that age group, you know what I mean? That you can tell just in their demeanor. We're talking and dealing with adults.
Yeah.
Versus then outcomes like the next pair, and you're like, see, these are children. Yeah. So.
I love it. In sad news, Polina Tsurskaya, one of your girls.
Oh, but she was so my girl. It's me. I'm such a sucker for a story of what might have been.
Yes, and she's only 17, so...
I know. Clearly there was, and everyone will go nuts then, but there was a lot of turmoil physically, and I know that there was a lot of upsetness with the camp and all that sort of stuff, but when she first switched to Atiri, was sort of her first year that I was really watching her on the Grand Prix circuit, and just the spring in those jumps is something that we don't see so much. We used to see it a bit with Gracie in the beginning, that kind of just bam. Mm-hmm. And she was really one of those few best double axel out of Russia, I thought, for the women. I don't know. She was fab. I loved her spring. And when she got that triple Lutz, triple toe, it was iconic. But it was sad to see it struggle. You sort of knew it was coming. But man, did she did it for me.
I would put her in Battle of the Blades. Maybe we can put it all, but they want a pair skater.
Yeah, of course.
Alyssa Sisney won the U.S. Open. Could we talk about that? She did a whole program about spinning that she did a voiceover narration for, and she's doing it at a club, so she's going to try to get us a video. So.
Oh, amazing. She was such a beautiful skater, too. Sad to see it. We wanted to see more than we were able.
And she's had hip surgery on both hips. I mean, her hip really did go, in a huge way. It's been years and years that she's tried to rebuild. Right as she was getting her technique and everything organized and her confidence is when it really went. And that's really a shame. So,
yeah.
Anyway, she's a character. I like that, Alyssa Sisney. One of our favorites. But let's dive into Fantasy on Ice.
Yes, this was fascinating to me. And I was curious who choreographs these shows.
I don't know who does, actually.
Oh my gosh, one of our friends, our Italian friend, literally just sent this to me because he's watching our 1992...
He just joined Patreon. I was excited about that.
Oh, yeah. I was too, because then I forgot about
Leonardo Buonomo. Yes. Oh my goodness.
Can you read that? Canadian Karen Preston, the Grace Kelly of figure skating. I forgot that she was in that book.
She really was the star of our Albertville recap. Erin Helms-Reen called me, and she had all sorts of thoughts on Karen Preston and about her good jump technique, but the landing position, and she was into it. She was really.
There's something there. There's a reason we were all drawn to it, even though it was not obviously great. But
I'm telling you, people have been obsessed with that Albertville recap, and I wasn't even sure.
Because I think it's one of those events that a lot of people forget happened. And again, we're of this. You're younger than
we're
me.
Women of a certain age. You know?
Yeah, we when as ladies of a certain as the Golden Girls, we remember these events that, like you were saying, a lot of people start at 98.
Yeah.
And go on.
Well, I hope that because I feel like the kids today don't always learn their history, and I feel like this is our history course that we're teaching of skating.
Yes, yeah.
And I'm making you watch Gymnastics Greatest Stars so you can have your history lesson, yes?
And you showed me that one girl today,
Larissa Petrick, you're obsessed.
Oh, my new favorite.
And you know I love Olga and that Kathy Johnson, yes?
Yeah, Olga was cutesy to me and had pizzazz and pop. And then Kathy was very athletic, very impressive. It was the last one that I was like, goodbye.
Oh my God, I found this 1974 Russian documentary about like Olga and Tereshova and how they were like rivals because they really drew so much interest into the sport worldwide. And they did a montage of the Soviets that looks like as good as any dramatic nighttime soap opera. But it's set to the Romeo and Juliet, A Time for This. And, like, I was feeling it. It was, like, they showed all the girls, and they're all, like, turning to the camera, giving you dramatic 90210 expressions.
Amazing.
All right. So,
and I just bought that Russian ballet book that when you come over, we're going to go through this.
We're going to go through it page by page.
Yes, and it's one of those Asterline books or whatever, so it's like this big and it's enormous, and it's all the pages are like covered in gold and they're actual photographs mounted in of all the old Russian ballet stars and like their amazing quotes. Like, I'm excited.
I know whenever the people say that we hate Russia, I'm like, we've clearly never met. We've clearly never met.
Oh my gosh. No, yes, I'm sorry people think that way because I dislike the choreography of one particular ice rink in Russia, but that does not mean I'm not obsessed with so much of the amazing
I'm like,
art.
do you know how many hours we've put in to watching Natalia Kuchinskaya and Larissa and Yelena Mukina and like how many hours? Yeah, come on. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And some of the best art songs you've ever heard come from Russia. It's amazing. Okay. So speaking of Russia, it was interesting. Can we take Fantasy on Ice in order? From the opening number, which I watched?
Sure.
Because you know I am not so into the shows like this. Because one too many Stars on Ice, you know, and you're like, ugh. Or Smucker's Spectaculars, and you're like, ugh, no more exhibitions. But the opening was cute. It was like a laugh-in sort of thing where everyone comes out and is introduced. And I was really intrigued by the lineup. And we'll talk about it. I watched the Hanyu performances, Satoko, Rika, Javi, which I was obsessed with that number. I watched a little bit of Evgenia, and a little bit of Shizuka Arakawa. Mm-hmm. Some people that I was surprised were there. The Italian ice dancers.
They have a random resurgence. Maybe they like them in Japan. They may be the same agency. You know, there are different business things that go on here.
Okay, and then someone came out from the side, and I was like, who's this clown? And I was like, oh gosh, is that Adam? Because it looked very like insensitively femmy, and it was Johnny. I didn't realize.
Adam is much better than Johnny. No, Johnny shticks it up. That's his whole professional career. Like he's literally. I always found him, even when he's on the Super Bowl, because if you talk to him, he's a real person, but he knows to ham it up for.
That is an onstage persona, and it's
like a Liberace onstage persona that you would have like a drug problem for later on. Like I let myself be that token, you know, like that's.
Because I think there is a side of him that is smart, sensitive, intelligent, you know, kind, but we don't see that. We just
he doesn't skate with his soul, and that's what the difference is, and he has the potential to.
Yeah,
and that's
a beautiful way to say that, Dave. That's exactly it. It's on the surface.
It's surface, but you know that Johnny Weir could give you, if he ever put any effort in, a real vulnerability, which he wasn't willing to really do as a performer later. if he really gave it his everything, which I think he kind of
It takes
had some
God
Nancy
to do
Kerrigan. I think he had some Nancy Kerrigan psychological things. I think that he could have been the greatest artist of all time, like one of the greats. But he held back, especially after he became famous, right? Like there was a real thing there.
Locked in. We were set.
Remember when he skated the Jesus program, but that was the year that he decided to like really slough off his training and be burnt out and, you know, be rude to Priscilla and everything in the documentary. And you think like, you're skating as Jesus. That is the time to give a full effort, not to like skate through your jumping
A lot of people
classes.
might get upset if you phone that one in.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
Like, talk about an artistic choice when you're going to be the child of Nazareth. And it was actually a beautifully
Talk about walking on water.
Yes, Johnny.
Okay.
I want to know where we can watch Pop Star Nights. My favorite part of that documentary is that Johnny, I think, falls in the triple loop in the middle of his program. And there's this point in the program where it's like, and there's like a part, right? And that's the moment when he just slams the door of the ice rink as he has like this terrible run through. He's having like a real day, and it was like perfectly timed and just fantastic. So,
I'll
anyway,
have to rewatch that for sure.
Anyway, Johnny's a lot. Johnny's a lot, and it's
and it was here as well. And then out come Evgenia and Elizaveta.
Yes.
Which I was happy for Elizaveta that she was invited.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, she absolutely deserves to. She's won a lot of things. She's made a presence in the sport, and she has a personality that people are.
She had a real PR campaign this year that worked. She made herself.
And I was glad because it would be even more sad for her if then she was missing out on these kinds of opportunities. And it's interesting because they put them together, and out they come, and they're spinning together, holding hands. Mm-hmm. And me, you know, I'm like, see, they're fine. And then it was Zagitova who comes out on her own right afterwards and does like a spin thing. And I was like, okay, Miki was there.
Love
Fascinating
Miki, yes.
to see her. Who else surprised me? Plushenko was there.
Yes, because, you know, Hanyu loves Plushenko and Johnny, so that's why they're there.
But of course, Hanyu was introduced last, Plushenko right before. And I was like, I wonder, you know, as we talk about the psychology of performers and high-performing athletes and stuff, what it's like for Plushenko to be the penultimate announcement. I mean, even though you know it's Hanyu's show, that's still an adjustment for someone who is always the top of the pyramid.
I think he
understands. Even when they weren't.
I think look, Hanyu's got 2 Olympic gold medals. He doesn't have 2 individual gold medals. At the end of the day...
Right.
You have to. I think any athlete will tell you.
It was absolutely right. I'm just like...
He didn't have the figures to hold him up. You know, he did it. And that's the thing. I've always found that Hanyu, you can see the influence of Plushenko in him. I was watching his performances when he was doing Totoshi, and though I don't think that the music is stellar, and I think that some of our fans don't understand, like if you have any criticism of Hanyu, they get really in a tizzy. I think he skates with so much pizzazz and so much soul. I would like to see him do something really artistic and really delve in, but he, you know, I don't think his choreographers are the ones that necessarily give you that, but he is such a stylist and such a performer, and you can just tell that it grows and grows and grows from year to year. And then I was really loving the masquerade. I loved the outfit, and then I loved when he would do this and then give you like arms into an Ina Bauer. He knows what the audience...
That entrance was fabulous. It was just that old razzmatazz, like showbiz, like set it up, release it, and it totally worked.
He does know how to be a Plushenko where he's at an 11 for like 90% of the program. Where it's like, I want a little more highs and lows choreographed in, but he knows to just give the audience what they want to see, and it's fabulous.
And even the opening of the masquerade program had total like abandon and like an intensity from the get-go, like 0 to 60 in no time. Like
it's fascinating. He's a fascinating kind of performer because he's giving you like subtle, and then he's giving you like masculine, like whoa, and then it's a mix of everything when he skates. He's wearing these real blouses that you're like, he should have a women's clothing line for the women in Japan, and then he's giving you like king.
Strength. He's giving you real strength. What does this say? Blank with the music. I don't know what I was saying. Because this is going to be his program?
I don't think it is. I don't think we know.
It's just an exhibition.
Yeah.
Okay.
And did he design Toshi's costumes? Because even they had that little, like, kind of end of the shirt, the ruffle, like the
thing. Was a nod. It was a nod to that style.
And I don't know who Toshi is. I don't think I really care to, but I
Oh, we'll get to it. Here, wait, let me get through this masquerade one, because also there were a couple of things that reminded me of the Cosby Show. Do you remember when they were doing that?
I remember when we could watch the Cosby Show and just enjoy it.
Same thing. I realized what I was saying because I was like, that part reminded me of the Cosby Show. But there's also a part of me that wonders if he's not dissimilar to Michael Jackson. There's like this kind of
well, Michael also liked to be like in a military thing for like all the time. The way Hanyu is like a warrior, so I get that.
Yeah, and just this kind of level of fame and commitment, and that like the ability his movement has.
Michael would know that if he could go. That the audience would go nuts. Like,
exactly. That's Hanyu here.
The way she moves.
Yeah.
Dangerous. Like, come on, Jonathan. Yeah.
And what a twist, eh? That the mask of the Phantom was really his little white glove. That he
what a twist.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, exactly.
Plot twist. And didn't see it coming.
And the swagger to just stand there and take in that applause without even moving and just be like, right?
He has way more swagger than Nathan in a performance like this. And I hope that Nathan grows that, right?
Oh, question. Yeah. Nathan has like a seriousness.
Nathan has a swagger about doing his technical elements, I think. But Hanyu has swagger even about his like ballet-inspired moves that he does and the way he that makes him so captivating in a show.
It's a vigor. It's something virile in like a way. Like it's a thing. And now, so that then compared to the other program he did, which was Crystal Memories. Now,
wasn't feeling that one as much. Just letting you know.
I certainly wasn't as either. Here's the thing. That singer was technically singing in English.
Yes.
That's where everyone goes. Well, can you speak Japanese? No, this is not.
I can't speak Japanese. Yeah.
I cannot, and I am not saying that at all. I do sing in foreign languages as a point of my career, and it takes a lot of study, and you'll always get a native speaker that's like, what was that one word? It's inevitably going to happen. Unfortunately, the way the song was where he would sing Crystal Meth.
He couldn't do his R's, and we know that there's not that sound in other.
No, I'm thinking it sounded like he was singing about crystal meth because of the way the meth
and the costume is seemingly.
It was unfortunate because I just wrote something down and then I looked up and did he just sing crystal meth? And then it kept coming up. It was a little bit, and that one was just a little bit more generically lovely. Now, let's talk about the girls that were doing some of their competitive stuff here.
Yeah, did I have anything other Hanyu thoughts? Oh, the other Hanyu thoughts is that we saw him he's working that quad lutz again. He was brilliant. He took probably a couple weeks off after the World Championships, so he rested his body so that he didn't have to do that stupid World Team event, which he probably had no interest in doing. And he does, I'm making this up, I don't know.
And you know what? That kind of energy right now is beneath his integrity.
Yeah.
This is an artist trying to push his sport. He's, again, this iconic figure, so to suddenly see him with a #1 foam finger and an air horn dancing and a kiss and cry, that's not his bag.
Do you remember what the great Tyra Banks told us on America's Next Top Model?
What did she tell you, Dave?
She told us that we need to be a model who carries herself like she doesn't get out of bed for less than $10,000 a day. And I thought that is the way that Hanyu skates. He's making that like 30 G's that Michelle was making per night on Champions. Okay? Like, you carry yourself that way.
Absolutely.
Don't that team event, let the others do that. Okay? The ones that need to work for that money. Make them do that team event.
Let them be silly so they get paid.
Yeah.
And you can be above that. You
do it when Olympic gold is on the line and you have an ice dance team that can carry you and carry their weight. Okay? That's when
Exactly.
I'll give you a smile when that happens. I'll wear a kimono and give you jazz hands if we're going for gold. Okay?
Incredible.
I wouldn't want to do it. But let me tell you, Jonathan, if I needed the money, I would be doing splits in that kiss and cry.
Yeah,
okay?
I have done a lot less, or a lot more for a lot less, I should say. So
I would do Fuller House, if I were that Netflix.
Yeah, if the money's right. You know, I've sung some weird, stupid, horrible stuff. I was like, how much was the fee? Yeah, all right, I'll do it.
All right. You know what? Yes. Okay. I'll do it. All right. So let's talk about our girls.
And I have.
Let's talk about our girls. Satoko Miyahara. Miyahara. Okay. She debuted the Benoit program. It's like Cleopatra. It is like...
Bangles.
I felt like it was early to debut a new look like this. That's so out of the box, but maybe good to get experience performing it. But the thing that I think is going to be challenging is that this is so different for Satoko that I think they need to hire an out-of-the-box gay man to, like, be in the ring to just yell, like, girl, you better work constantly. Yeah. Because I don't think she's giving you RuPaul's Drag Race, Mie Hamada. Like, I don't think she's giving you that kind of a...
Correct.
Right? And this number is going to really challenge Satoko to develop as a performer, as will Rika's. And I think they need their inner Shaylin, their inner drag queen to be there, like, constantly to kind of let them. But Satoko was trying. Like, she was giving us a lot of effort. I think this program is going to take daily work, and it has the potential to be really cool and brilliant. It's going to be a big challenge for her. But her tango did grow last season.
It did. And what I do appreciate in the big picture is she's not just sticking to the formulaic, beautiful, lyrical, soft look. They're looking around. They're trying to figure it out, you know, and going in different directions. So I appreciated the choice to use Benoit. Mm-hmm. Whether or not I think it was the ultimate collaboration, I think is yet to be seen because it's so early. You know, this was a May program of something we'll really be seeing debut in its fullest in late October, early November. The look of this costume and the costume of Rika reminded me a bit of the Atiri camp of exhibition wardrobe.
I don't think this is the final thing. Yeah, I do hope she wears pants for this program, though. I don't, because there's a lot of... squat. You know, Benoit loves a squat. He loves an angle. Right. He loves, like, not classically beautiful shapes. I hope that there's a pant, but I don't think this should be the final look.
No, it was a little too, it seemed beneath her. Yeah. In the same way we think that maybe the team event is beneath someone like Hanyu, arguably, that I think that this kind of outfit is beneath Satoko.
Yeah. Look, Marilyn Charlie rarely did that team event. Neither did, and same with Tessa Virtue. Okay. Right.
Just saying. Now, the opening arms reminded me a little of when we did the 98 ladies and Laetitia. When she was doing like these like circle things in her short, and Satoko was that similar.
Possibly an influence on Benoit. They're both French. Okay.
Just saying. And I liked that program of Laetitia, the opening idea, those concept of arms, not any of the skating, obviously, but the idea of that, of going.
Oh, bless her heart. She's exhausted.
I know, dear Lord, that it's forever that sequence of jumps at the end of the Albertville Games. That really
and I loved, as we predicted on Patreon, we predicted that reaction on Facebook. I know. We posted her video.
I know. Mm-hmm. Yeah, literally word for word, what everyone would say. One of the interesting things was, I thought the footwork sequence, I couldn't quite
figure out. It looks like work to me.
Yeah, it was very effortful. I saw the concept behind it, and the very cool idea at the end where it's almost this like catch foot, but then she's going into like an illusion out of it. I wasn't quite sure how it ended. I was like, I see cool concepts at work. I've just not seen it.
I'm worried. Is she injured? Is she lacking strength? Is she losing confidence in her jumps? It seems like something has happened.
The jumps are worse than ever. And I understand it's about the season. I understand there could be injuries.
And they're trying to rebuild the technique and make it better, but I'm worried this is I'm worried this could be her last season of relevance, because if Wakaba, if Kaori, Rika, you know, that's a strong trio of jumpers. Right. That's a strong group of girls. Miyahara is also very formidable.
I don't have the name in front of me, so I don't want to get it wrong. It's the
Yuna Shirewa?
Yes. She might sneak around.
She's working with Lambiel, one of our favorites. There was a photo at the rink of our favorite Mie Hamada people with my ideal team for like Ice Wars 2019, for the world team, representing the world team.
Yeah.
Stefan Lambiel, Jeffrey Buttle, and Daisuke Takahashi all in the same flip-in.
That I'd go to.
One of our fans let us know that Yuka Sato's mother is from Kansai University. Just like all of the Mie Hamada people. I mean, the lineage is obviously there. Maybe we're completely inventing this, but in my mind, it's like those edges are just passed.
We have decided,
We have decided that university is amazing, okay?
Yes, go there to learn all the things.
And Mie Hamada may be just as tough as Atiri, but she picks great choreographers to make us like...
And doesn't maybe have a jump technician to help, even if it's, I mean, Satoko literally, she didn't leave the ice for that triple loop. I didn't know how it was
The Lutz
possible.
looked terrible.
Yeah.
But I'm worried for her. I am, but I hope that she delivers this beautifully.
She was kind of laughing it off, not in a disrespectful way, but in a... sorry about that.
It is a show. There are spotlights, but I'm just saying that there's a trend that's been like slowly happening. That Senior B before Worlds was really worrisome. So
Yeah. But again, back to like the actual thing, because she's someone I would actually watch without the jumps. Sometimes we lie and say we would watch someone without the jumps, but her I actually would watch without the jumps.
Well, I don't lie about such things like that.
Well, sometimes I'm like, well, the skating skills are so lovely just to watch her skate, but like I wouldn't actually want to watch some of these girls. I say that about just skate, but
Jonathan, I like to watch like 1960s and 70s skating, so I would absolutely watch some people without the jumps.
Yes.
I like to watch the one from Julie Lynn Holmes, who was like the imitation Peggy Fleming. I love to watch that and figure out what's going on there. Like, I am all for it, okay?
Yeah, when we did our Linda interviews, and I watched 77 Nationals. That's a
Wendy
good
Burgess,
one.
yes.
Yes, and there was the other one who I keep forgetting too that was also in the mix, but and a young Priscilla Hill. Okay.
We have a question. We have a question for our other fellow women of a certain age. Jerry Campbell. Love Jerry. Was she a Barbara Flowers student? Because we noticed that she does the same lean that Roz and Tanya do in almost every program.
Yeah.
And Jerry Campbell, one of the biggest talents. There's also something a little bit strange about the technique of the takeoff, but the best spinner, I think, maybe the U.S. had before Alyssa Cisney. And a brilliant talent that seems like maybe she got injured before. She like wasn't doing the Lutz anymore with Frank. The Schumans swear that it was Frank that wasn't letting her do it. I think there was an injury. It looked like there was a loss of power later on in the career. So we need to like really dissect this and like what happened.
Solve the mystery.
And how come Tanya always makes it seem like she, in some of her interviews, like she was the alternate for the 88 team? Because Tanya was 5th at Nationals. And wasn't Jerry really the alternate?
Oh, did you know I thought Tanya was 4th at that Nationals?
No, that is not the original. That is based on a true story, okay?
Okay.
Fake flippin' news, Tanya, okay?
Okay.
Love you, Tanya. It seems like she's doing great on that cooking show, so...
Oh, yeah. I can't say I've been watching it, but...
Me neither, but I've been watching her Instagram, and she's in it still.
Okay.
She's giving a lot of effort, and she seems really into the instruction, and also... I would like her to appear at the ISU Worlds, and I think that Tanya won't do anything unless she's paid. So I think we should crowd fund her to...
You mean like the adult Worlds we just saw Midori?
Midori. And we'll discuss that later. But I think we need to crowd fund her to go, like an appearance fee. And we need to crowd fund... well, Diane's probably so sick of her, but Dodie is working with her again. And Dodie... I think that maybe we should crowdfund Dodie to drive to Tanya's house and pull her out of bed and make sure she gets to the rink and trains. Right. And
pay her to train.
And we could see her and Midori go head to head. And it's just what we need. It needs to be, like, we can vision board this.
She needs to get back a double axel at least, and it can be like a double axel, like, skate off.
Or just like a beautiful double loop. And I will let her
her death drop.
I think she could maybe challenge Midori artistically if we bring those Barbara Flowers leans in that we want to see Tanya do. She could do that 92 program. It was her artistic masterpiece. She loves that slow section in the shows. So, all right.
Who would the equivalent of that be choreographically today? Shaylin?
Oh, we could bring Shaylin in. Whoever would be willing to work with Tanya and put their name on it. Does anyone like a good redemption story?
Yeah, like I'm trying to think like who would be the funniest one that it would be like it would never work. Sandra.
Well, Misha Gee.
Misha Gee would be perfect.
And he would Instagram all of it. Okay?
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's great.
Because I don't think Jeremy's mother would let him do it. She would say no. So we need to go.
Yeah.
Also, I was just at a flag racing for the Pride flag, and the high school GSA was singing that awful song from "This Is Me" from the Greatest Showman, and it felt very skating. And I was thinking of you.
Yeah, exactly.
And I was standing next to Grace Gold, who was my friend in town, who is a figure skater and pageant girl, and now she is a like beauty and wellness correspondent, and like she goes on all the local news and talk shows around the country, and she looked fabulous and carrying herself like a figure skater should in real life. It was 90 flipping degrees. It was like full humidity. Her hair was like to die for. She had on like a melon lip. She was giving you like full skating glamour, and I was appreciative of it.
You were there for it.
It was Jill Trenery level style. Okay. It was how you like to see a figure skater in real life, okay? You want to see them look a little bit like a pageant girl. Like just a little bit, okay?
Yeah. Done up.
A presence,
right? A presence, yeah.
Yeah.
So, okay, just in this Satoko-Benoit relationship, yay or nay, as of this point?
To be continued. Right?
That's where I am too. Because, you know, when she did this, like, super fast scratch spin with her arms here, and then she segued right out of it with her arms, something about transitions, and I don't mean in the formal way that we're talking about the linking of the steps, but literally the way it was seamless, the elements in this program.
The ideas were cool. You can tell he thought about it.
Were cool.
I like it. I like the music actually better than Rika's, even though there are some fans. Paul Joseph is all about the breakfast in Baghdad. To me, we're going to need Rika to visit Shay more to really bring out this personality that we know she has. But she seems so focused on the technical sometimes.
Okay, because Rika's was the what was the name of the piece?
Breakfast in Baghdad.
Breakfast in Baghdad. And Satoko's was almost this kind of Bharatanatyam, like Indian music. Is that correct?
That's correct. Okay. I think it's like a Cleopatra, perhaps, maybe Egyptian. I don't know.
Okay, it was ethnic music of that vague region.
Mie Hamada has like been watching some Sex and the City too, and I think that she really is opening up her.
Amazing. That reference I got. I watched that one. Okay.
Yeah.
Now Rika's. I found this like elevator music. I didn't care for it at all.
And it didn't have enough Shaylin pizzazz for me. I want more, but I didn't know if Rika just wasn't giving it. I think that
That's what I said. When they announced it, I mean, mind you, it was the Japanese commentating, but you could hear Shaylin's name, and I thought, oh yeah, this is a Shaylin program. And it made me a little disappointed at first, because I was hoping for something a little more.
And does anyone ever, like, go to Shaylin for, like, the beautiful lyrical program? Because do we even know, what could Shay do? Does she have deep thoughts? Like, I think she may surprise us.
She did Swan Lake for Danny and Tara, which I still stand by as one of the most interesting Pairs programs we've seen in a while.
Right, but Tara's a show pony. I want to see, like, I want the Shay Schindler's List. What does it look like? What does it look like?
I think she has a lot of depth to give, but I think, like, this is how this unfortunately niche thing happens, where you, like, go to Shay for the fun.
They never gave us that depth as ice dancers. That's what they were missing, and they didn't get it. Like, Canadians never understood that ice dance was about emotion. It was about, 90s ice dance was about, the world is on fire, and you're skating for the last time. And that, they were completely...
And only your skating can save it.
Yes, and they were like, okay, river dance. That is what they were, like, missing. And then when she finally got to Morozov, she, like, understood what it was about.
Right.
And then they made her world champion. They paid off every judge, and they made it happen. And you know what? I applaud it. Okay, you deserved it a long time before. I have no qualms that, like, Nikolai, he's dealing from the bottom of the deck. So, don't care.
Exactly.
You deserve
but so I hope this program changes for her then, because I was, now, to be fair, I was rooting for Rika.
Like, scrap it or, like, develop it? Like,
develop it.
Yeah.
Because it just looks not like a thing yet, except for that outrageous costume with, like, the fishnet top.
I was horrified by the costume.
Yeah, it was a bit upsetting. Gosh, I wonder what I was going to say.
Oh, did
I have
you
no
see
idea.
Hanyu do the quad lutz? That was, like, impressive that he's trying it again.
I didn't see that. Is that what he did in the opening? No, he did a quad.
No, he did it, like, in a finale, and it was just... I just love that he's trying it. Like, he is so hell-bent, or it was a practice finale. He's so hell-bent on getting it. Like, you go. You go, Hanyu.
Everyone's doing, like, sit spins. Like, a couple of people did jumps, but in his introduction, I think he did a quad toe.
Oh, he did.
And I was like, all right, yeah.
And it's a beautiful quad toe.
Here's what I was going to say about Rika. I was rooting for her a little bit sentimentally throughout this season. When I saw her in person at Four Continents, you were like, oh, okay, you're not, like, a performer's performer. You're not really a skater's skater or an artist's artist. But she's
developing that, right? Like
and she's so well balanced.
Yeah.
So she's good at all those things, but it's not. She has more limitations artistically than someone like Satoko. So I don't.
We're simmering in the pot, and we're not sure if it's going to natural that we're uncovering or if we're putting it on. But I thought that the free last year helped bring it out of her a little more.
Yeah.
Like the music did.
Kind of sexy, spunky program might not be the answer, but it might be.
And I think they got the idea from those Tom Dixon dance classes that we've seen her take. Like, she has some of that in her. I think she needs to do those, like, every day.
Right. And again, a lot of these skaters, like, do you think Mie Hamada is looking at this and who's going where for what style and what we're looking
to achieve? She has the big picture.
But yeah, based on what's happening in Beijing, not what's based necessarily on happening this season.
And their careers. Look,
yeah.
Satoko could be a performer in the Mao show at any moment, okay? And that's a reality in Japan. That is reality. And it's a reality in Russia, too. That's a living.
But she also has an opportunity to do that legitimately.
And she's a beautiful performer. Like, she may not have to jump the rest of her life beyond, like, a double axel. Like, she may be able to just, like, wow you with her performances. Right. And I think she can. And she's developing her for the big picture. So
I thought the performance of this entire show, though.
Satoko is going to give you the pain of the plight of the European Jews in, like, World War II. Probably better than anyone we've ever seen before. And, like, you're going to be like, what?
Worth the wait.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's going to be like Joshua Ferris level, where I'm going to be like, where did that come from?
Right. More of that in skating. I thought the flamenco number. That's too bad.
The flamenco number was 10 minutes flipping long. There was a singer. I felt like you knew her. I felt like Jonathan's like, oh yeah, my girl from Spain.
Oh, no, because that was definitely not an operatic technique.
I didn't know. I just didn't know if you knew her from one of your, like, childhood vacations or something.
Oh, amazing. I do, like, and she popped up in the audience, and I was a little like, okay.
First of all, the fact that I just gave you Chicago.
I heard it.
The fact that she came from the audience, right?
Which I think is so hokey when skaters and...
I've been following Antonio Najarro on Instagram for a long time because all of the European kind of artsy skaters do work with him. He's like an Elena Ilyinic staple. He gave us that, like, Frida program. Whenever you want to feel a little bit Spanish, you call him up.
Okay.
And he had, like, a cute boyfriend at one point. He's a very intense performer. And he was, like, really giving us some flamenco, like...
And a long time. Yeah.
And I was interested. He was doing, like, a lot of, like, stomping, tap dancing for...
So, did you ever see Riverdance live?
No.
Or the video or something like that?
Yeah, I've seen...
So, there was that flamenco section. And sometimes when people do Riverdance or say they're doing a flamenco, that's where they're actually pulling it from. But it was interesting because it was isolated almost within the show. And it became like, now Spain is here in this Epcot-y sort of way to demonstrate to you...
Like that part in Swan Lake when it becomes like Epcot Center, when we go from like country to country to country?
Yeah, it's a parade of nations. Yeah, like it became a little bit like that ideology a little bit, but the group number was effective and I wasn't embarrassed by it, that I actually was watching it. And it sort of had more of a Sandra-esque sentiment to it, in that there was clearly thought and craft, and it wasn't choreographed that morning where a bunch of people are not in sync trying to do a spiral together across the ice. Like, it was thoughtfully done.
I love that Javier now has like a flair for production and theater. Like, he met his inner Sandra, and then it's coming out, right?
Yes, I felt like this was a Javier jewel that was placed within this. It was a whole production number.
And then, you know what I love? Is that Javier Raya randomly appears as like, you know, he would always get the spot from Spain, and he's there to like look pretty and be the hottest chorus boy with Spanish flair. And like, I think he can have a whole career as like the chorus boy for Javier.
And even that kind of stuff is still...
He was a great skater, performer. Yeah. I love that they were like random chorus girls on the ice. I was like, yes.
This effectively used, yeah.
Effectively used. And I think that we can keep Javier in the repertoire. I think this was fantastic. He give you like a little deep V, you know. I think he's looking good.
And I'm not gonna lie. There was that moment. So he started actually on the stage, Javi, and with the dancer, and he was just, you know,
dancing in his blades. Yes,
dancing in his blades, and they were doing it. And it was almost like homoerotic, like some of this stuff. And I was like, oh my goodness. And then all of a sudden he like jumps onto the ice into a lunge and just like enters. And this is art. This is a show. This isn't just a series of random exhibitions people are slapping on and they're like, here's my exhibition. Here's what I do. I
was here for it. I was like...
total game changer in the show.
It felt like it was like... Remember when Sandra told us that she got a little excited when she went to that flamenco in the cave? Like in...
Right.
It
had an atmospheric thing happening. It wasn't just a follow spot. You know, they clearly had light cues, you know, written out and stylized, and it was a very effective number.
Maybe it is from his show. I'm not sure. Maybe it is. I don't know. We can ask Sandra when she's...
Yeah, it was very impressive. At a later date, we can ask Sandra, yeah.
Also, we started to get news about programs this week. You know, we talked a little bit last week, and as soon as we posted, Alexa posted her news. But we're going to get to that. With the first one, Gabby Daleman has been a lot on social media. And, you know, it's a little uncomfortable, but she is giving us such camp this season that we just need to applaud it, Jonathan, because Celine is having a moment. Her whole look, I know, is really uncomfortable for certain people. They think that there's a lot going on. But I have to tell you, Gabby Daleman is giving us It's All Coming Back to Me Now for her free skate. She was skating it in Not the Cricket Club, and we've heard that she is no longer there, but she's never announced that, but it looks rather obvious. We've heard she's going to the Granite Club. But anyway, there were nights of endless pleasure, and this program looks like, I think Gabby Daleman is going to give us an over-the-top Celine Dion. I don't know if she's still working with Laurie Nickel, but it looked like there was actual choreography here that was somewhat sophisticated, but I think she's going to give us like wind in the hair and fake nails. And I think that this is going to have like an Elena Radianova Titanic vibe to it, whether or not it's planned, okay?
Whether
you know when it goes, baby, baby, like what is he going to do with the three babies, okay?
Yeah, it's going to be very like High School Music video. And I think that works. I think that's something she can sell effectively.
I think this is going to be everything we want and more. I hope that we get to see it.
And it had actually like a real Roz Sumners kind of big thing, you know. Like we were talking about the lean. It was almost
she would be killer with Barbara Flowers' choreography.
Yeah. It's a shame that can't happen. Yeah.
Oh. And Tanya didn't even go to the Barbara Flowers funeral. She gave her the only flippin' choreography that Tanya ever did, and she didn't show up to the funeral. That was like written in the book as like a real slam against Tanya.
Well, yeah, kind of. Like, come on. That's the story in the Tonya Harding story that's tough is the lack of gratitude for those that were really trying to help. Because I know a lot of people were against her, but a lot of people were really for her. Yeah. And you got to treat those people with the respect.
Does anyone know about Barbara Flowers? Like, tell us. Is she like? I feel like she's a character. Like, I feel like she's maybe a second-rate choreographer, but who's like a little fabulous at the same time.
Yeah, exactly.
Come on. She gave you Roz Sumner's Amazing Grace on a flute in '88. And that program gives me so much flippin' joy. Christopher Schumann says he's going to commission 84 for us. And I said he needs to appear.
Oh, yeah. He has a lot of great insight, yeah.
I think we can argue with him, and he'll be like... He'll give his opera voice as he talks.
Yeah,
yes.
He does have a deep sound.
He could talk about Tempe. You know, I could.
Yes. See, look at you. And I'm not talking about Arizona. Yeah, okay.
All right.
Now, the music news that interested me, and I want to talk this out with you, is Vincent with Lori.
No, with Shay. He's getting his Shay on.
Doing Mumford and Sons. And you know what? I think this is a brilliant
idea. Which song from Mumford and Sons?
See, I just saw that it said Mumford and Sons, unless you knew that it was... Unless you knew it was something more specific. But I liked the idea of it. I think that's a smart idea. Now we'll see how it materializes.
I think it could be smart. It could be fun. It's different. It's unexpected. And it makes me think of Sanford and Son. And you know what? What's not to like? You know, and I think...
Okay.
Yes, I'm for it. I am excited by this. It is Mumford and Sons. I will wait. And I'm here. I'm ready for it.
And we will wait. We will wait until it's ready because we want to see it.
I hope he shimmies. I feel like you go to Shay when you want to be fun and striking on the ice and get in touch with your inner sexy goddess. And
I think she can bring out a fun side that I believe he possesses. And she could just anything that helps unlock his body, which I think Shay might be able to do. An ice dancer might be able to really help him.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm here for it. But okay. So after we posted the show last week, the Knierims posted their music. Now there is like a big Alexa and Chris fan who's been messaging me. She seemed to have a little bit of a crush on Chris because she kept talking about how good his skating skills were. Anyway,
he's really nice. He's really sweet.
Good.
But okay.
Okay. And you know, like we have Alexa, we have a soft spot for her. Anyone who gets the first spot in the TSL intro is like a character that we appreciate.
And with skating skills. She has great talent.
So for the short, they're giving us Beyonce at Last. Not my favorite Beyonce song, but I will wait to see this because...
Isn't At Last of the Etta James At Last? But it's sung by Beyonce.
It's sung by Beyonce from Cadillac Records, and I remember that soundtrack was actually kind of good and artsy, and Beyonce played like a drug addict, and you know, Beyonce's not really an actress because she's not really much of a speaker. But
she's not really a vocalist in the way that someone like Etta James was, this kind of full-throated, you know, like there's a reason you had a Beyonce and a Jennifer Hudson.
But I'm glad that...
I'd rather hear Jennifer Hudson do it than Beyonce, but that's just me.
I mean, maybe someone needs to skate to One Night Only by Jennifer Hudson and give it like slow
Come
section.
Come on. Yeah.
One Night Only. Gabby Daleman, next year. Or maybe short program... One Night Only, Jennifer Hudson, give us the camp, okay? You can keep your manicure and maybe just change the nail color.
I'm trying not to be snarky, but the punster in me won't let it go. Larkin needed to skate to it at any international event where you knew she wasn't going to make the law.
Jonathan, she retired. It's a mean joke, okay?
I know. No, maybe that's why we can make it now. So she could always, the short program, she'd be like, I'm at this event.
I loved Larkin and her, like, sassy hairdo. You know, I was Team Larkin, okay?
Okay, over...
I never really cared for Elaine Chartrand. I'm sorry. You did give us that great performance where the shady cameraman at Cup of Russia was like giving us...
Remember that. That was an iconic performance. Yes.
And I hope that you weren't injured. I hope that you're okay. It seems like you're still going, but not my favorite. I prefer Larkin, okay?
Okay.
She had more razzmatazz. She had an inner Jill Trenery that she just didn't know because she's Canadian, okay?
That's right.
We would have put her in a Lauren Sheehan dress. Nowadays, that's Lisa McKinnon. Yeah, we would. I'm just telling you. She didn't know. I would put Larkin as a chorus girl next to Javier Raya in the Javi show. Okay?
Okay.
She's making my tour.
I don't know that I would do that, but okay.
You know what, Jonathan? We need chorus girls. We need theater. It needs to be like Sonia Henney on ice, where like the queen comes out. All right?
Okay. Gotcha.
And I believe that Larkin has that kind of appeal. All right?
Okay.
She's giving us kind of cabaret. I'm liking her.
Yeah,
okay?
she did. Yeah, if she had done like some real dark, smoky eyes, like there was a look there for sure. Yeah.
There's something we could make her into like such a fag hag performer. I'm telling you, there is. If she were skating for France, she would be in every competition. So I think
and her tulips and Saukhaus did really have like nice posture.
I liked her. Okay. All right.
Yeah.
I liked her. Right. We've bonded through Calgary, so you know what I like and I do not like. And I think she was a much better skater than Joanne Conway. All right, but she's still giving us the Carlo Fassi realness with that jazz teacher that Dick loves so much.
Right, exactly, with that jazz instructor.
That may or may not have just been Sandra Bezic.
Just saying, yeah.
That's why the Calgary video is going to give everyone the most. I think it's going to be their happy place, okay?
Yeah.
Maybe, I mean, look, our videos on Patreon are so effective that Leonardo Buonomo is messaging us about non-Italian skaters, okay? It's no longer just patriotic for him.
Yeah,
he has discovered Karen Preston. He's discovered her being Grace Kelly, and he is like full throttle invested.
Yeah, we've done our work. Okay, exposure all over the place.
Exposure.
Okay, so what did the Knierims say for the long then?
Well, it's a mix, and the first song is not like the important thing that is to give us. The first piece is "Drops of Fragrance," composed by Maxim Rodriguez, and they're working with Benoit for both. Now, the title alone, obviously, I'm here for. It sounds like it's going to make my yoga, my Marie France yoga list that I do use. Okay. There's nothing better than you're like midway through a yoga thing and you have like the Papadakis and Cizeron short dance music from 2016, 2017. Like, you ain't got the class. There is nothing flippin' better, okay? But it's paired with Experience by Ludovico Einaudi, and they're not using the Circles version. And I want to see like Alexa Knierim be a little bit French, a little bit artsy, get in touch with her Olivia Smart, and be like, da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da.
When you use like Einaudi and stuff like that, it's very emo-y. And I don't know that that's my favorite version of them.
I like this. I think Alexa can give you emo. We haven't seen it yet completely.
Okay.
I have faith that Alexa could, now that she's in California, I think we are giving her the freedom to be a soap opera actress, and that she doesn't even know that, maybe she doesn't even know she has it in her, but she does. I think she could sell a lot. Okay, I think she's got a lot of feelings. And the other thing is that Ashley Kane and Tim LeDuc are also using this music, and while I think that Tim LeDuc could skate to it beautifully, I am Team Alexa here. I want to see Alexa's version of this with Benoit far more, getting in touch with her inner...
Because who is doing Ashley and Tim's, do you know?
They working with Misha Gee for the short, and then wait.
And that's not this.
Oh, wait. We had this whole thing, because we looked it up on our... We love the work that, like, the podcast with, like, the 15 people does, their website, their database. And we thought it was so you think you can figure skate, and it's so you want to watch figure skating. I think that's an awful title. So you want to watch figure skating?
Because we go, but it's so you want to watch figure skating. Now we'll remember.
But it also, like, it also kind of emphasizes that this is an obscure activity.
Yeah, because I literally sat there like an idiot, and I was like, so...
Pasquale is doing their program. Yeah, we didn't get... There were too many letters. Too many letters going on. I thought it was so...
I thought it was my bin number. I'll be intrigued to see what that looks like. But yes, yes, it will be very much apples to apples.
Yeah. The other thing that we wanted to touch on is that Midori Ito competed at the ISU.
Who we love.
And this is Megan Duhamel. She did say that this is her goal. And, she's having the babies now, so I think she'll have enough time to get back on the ice.
Does she get back into shape by the time she's 49 years old and wants to compete?
She'll be back in the shape for Battle of the Blades season 6 or 7, whatever it is when it comes back. I think it'll be season 6, if it gets renewed again. She can be right there, all right, giving you like Isabelle Brasseur style lifts, okay? But I want to tell you that Midori Ito tried like 1,000,000 double axels. None were successful. But
she had the height.
I love that she is giving, because I think she was doing single axels a couple of years ago, and she keeps pushing herself.
Double loop, double toe.
She's obviously an interesting, crazy skater, which we love. Mm-hmm. Giving you the
sat in the kiss and cry with 300 people, but you said that's normal fare for this event.
They let you sit with your countrymen at the Worlds, and maybe like the boy that you're checking out there. Because I am here for Midori. This is why we need Tanya to skate against her. I think it would be a great showdown. I think that we can crowdfund this, GoFundMe, it to happen. I think we need like an organizer. Maybe Chris Albert can organize this. He seems like he's on top of his life. And I think that we can do this. If anyone would like to volunteer and think like we can have a committee, if anyone wants to reach out to Tanya, I believe she took her husband's last name, someone was telling me, so she's not listed as Tanya Harding, but she's available. And I think, look, Tanya's always looking for work, and we need this to happen, Jonathan. And this could be our contribution to the sport.
To the entire sport will boil down to this showdown of the
And while I love Nancy with all of my heart and soul, and you know I love Nancy.
But she can't be invited. She's done enough.
She's done enough.
Nancy.
We need to see Tanya do this, okay? And maybe it'll be satisfaction for Nancy, and she'll be like, see? You know what? And I think that there's a good chance that could happen. But we could give Tanya the opportunity, okay? This could be the skating public behind her, so that she can feel the warmth, okay?
Because there is a resurgence of support for her now as a woman.
All gays of a certain age and fag hags that are behind her. But
it's interesting. What I liked about Midori doing it, because you wonder, when you see a great like that coming out and kind of, obviously they're 49 years old and it's not 1992 and all this sort of stuff. But there's something so exciting about it. And just even in her like opening move, and she covers half the rink in one step, and the audience like applauding when she lands in the splits in a double axel, because just her energy and presence there. And what she does is, and I say this all the time and it sounds so hokey, but she exudes the joy of skating. That woman is there because she loves skating and wants to share.
Like Megan Duhamel, there is no extension. There is no toe point, but she loves to skate. And she's giving you leg wrap.
Everything.
She's giving you ugly camel, but she's giving you a spread eagle. She's trying to give you artistry. It's just like not flipping there, but I appreciate the joy, and she's fun to watch. So I'm here for it. I think that Carol Yamaguchi should see this video. She should tell Christy, we're going to get in the rink, and we're going to have a showdown with Midori. Christy could do all doubles. They could be beautiful, and they could be clean. And I think that Christy would train like 3 sessions a day. Along with her daughter. I think, unfortunately, Christy would probably outskate her daughter, but I don't care. I think Rudy would take you there, and it could be your thank you to Rudy for how much he gave you as a pro skater. Maybe the two of you could get out and do ISU adult pairs. I would love to see that.
Oh my gosh, wouldn't that be epic?
Side-by-side single flips. I mean, come on, would you die? I would die.
Huge reverse entrance into it, like they have to do.
Come on. I am here for it. We can have this. Yuki, get behind this. Yuki, this would open a whole thing about exercise at a later date. It will open
It needs to be a nostalgia tour.
Not just a nostalgia tour. It's about having dreams and goals later in life. We need to make this about more. Christy can write a flippin' book, okay?
Well, when they do, when I look on Apple, on iTunes Music and stuff like that, they'll have essentials for each artist, and then they have next steps. So this needs to be like the next steps tour for all these people.
Come on, Christy. Christy, you can give us a Sandra slow section. Sandra will fly in and make this. You can do the whole thing. You've missed Sandra. You could skate to Yanni. You could skate to whatever you want. Lana Del Rey, maybe. And we could just have a Lisa McKinnon costume for Christy. I'm sure Lisa would put everyone
but remember,
down.
So who did she go to for the black and gold? She didn't go, remember? Wasn't...
No, it was a Lauren. It was a Lauren. Oh, Lauren would come out of retirement to make it for Christine.
Okay.
Are you kidding?
Okay.
Are you kidding? She was a gem. That was a great interview. She was fantastic.
Yeah.
She felt
she gave
every
bead.
Every bead, she felt it. And she did that.
Yeah.
Yes. But I think that Christine would train, and would be ready to take on Midori at the ISU Adult Worlds. We need to make this happen, okay?
Yeah, absolutely.
And you're going to watch that Gymnastics Greatest Stars this week, Jonathan. I want a book report next week. I would like you to talk out all of your feelings. You're going to learn about world history through the eyes of Kathy Johnson and all of her feelings, okay?
And Larissa. I want to watch more Larissa.
Larissa Petrick, yes, okay? And on a serious note, the reaction about Bridget Namioka coming forward as... Don't get scared. I'm not going to, say this, but... Bridget,
no,
we didn't say this last week. Bridget Namioka came forward about John Coughlin.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Now, she is one of the 3 that originally went before John was suspended. But the stuff that has happened on her page is so disturbing. The way people have responded. And I think it's just a real pause that people can take back. Because I don't think these things happen in a vacuum, right? And it doesn't mean... Because there are people that will say that, some of the alleged victims have, parents and situations and everything. But I listened to this podcast with FBI profilers that's really fantastic called Real Crime Profile, and they were talking about the Michael Jackson documentary. And you know that one had so much outcry because even in the documentary, they show how the parents are imperfect and, kind of put people in situations and allow them to be around teachers or coaches. And look, skating has all of this, where maybe the coaches are a contributing factor, and this is a contributing. None of this happens in a vacuum. And remember, Sage Sports said it was the whole culture that was a little crazy. And on Bridget's page, it's definitely become that.
Playing up.
I mean, the fact that Tara Maudlin's... Let's just, break this down, because before we posted this, people didn't realize it. Tara Maudlin married Craig Marizzi. Craig Marizzi, who's the skating director at Ice House, which employs
Nikolai. Abused by Richard Callahan, right?
Yes, and I think that everyone kind of believes Craig, and the USFS did him dirty, and he actually has a lawsuit there. That's, I would say, pretty... Substantial, right? And pretty... there's a lot there. There's a lot even about, the cover-up and everything. Okay. We're believing this, right? Well then, Tara is his wife, but she's also... a driving force, probably behind that lawsuit, because we know how Tara is. She's a pusher. I'm a pusher, Tara is a pusher for sure. And then you have her, who's John Coughlin's agent, right? And she was his agent, and obviously friends with him, because we always know that Tara mixes business and pleasure and everything, as we saw with Johnny Weir. This is a problem, then, when she responded to Christine Brennan and called Bridget crazy. And...
Unfortunate. It was real unfortunate.
The hidden link behind this is that Bridget and Craig have the same attorney. They're both with John Manley. Tara may have just damaged her husband's own case by saying that. That is how much that people in skating they've learned nothing from the Nassar case. And not learned to maybe... The thing that I think about the John Coughlin is that because people liked him, they don't... Everyone in skating felt the need to say something, right? We're so ingrained on social media to react, but maybe saying nothing is better. A lot of his partners took their Instagrams and social media down during that entire time.
A lot of those people disappeared during an interesting time to have disappeared.
Right?
Yeah.
Never. Before or since. And it was an interesting thing. It's just disheartening, and it's gross. Whether or not you believe this person or you want more information, because none of us were there, that to me is really disturbing. And to see someone who has admittedly had struggles since, well, maybe she had struggles that were somehow related to skating, and maybe...
Or maybe those struggles made her a target. I do never know.
All the things, because she is not the original person who is being referenced when Coughlin's family... And by the way, how did Radar Online get his autopsy? Because, as Christine Brennan told us, the coroner didn't release it to anyone. So someone leaked or...
this is so heavy.
And you know that Radar pays for things. So someone either leaked that to them or paid to get money for that to leak. And they wanted that. And it was it's very clear, if you know who people are, who's referenced in that. Like, there's so much that's like and people are hurting and they have real emotions, and you have to like take a step back and not like want to pitchfork people, right? Like, and it's there's so many emotions and conflicting narratives and everything. But I think that it's just like it's really gotten really, really disturbing. You know, the way people want to respond and they want to attack someone. And you're like, wait a second, like take a step back. Like this is a whole disturbing culture, you know, that has allowed this to happen.
And that's the conversation that should be really taking place.
So my understanding is that of the three, and I'm going to try to do this so that I don't like out anyone. My understanding is that the third person who would be like the ideal person to speak may not do this because they're maybe connected to someone who's had issues in skating. You know, like everyone knows someone in skating that's either been a victim in an inappropriate relationship because culturally, in a general sense, it was either okay, right? Like there's so many disturbing aspects with eating disorders and improper relationships.
Things become normal that should never become normal.
Yeah. And I think that's the bigger issue here, and that's the bigger lesson and theme to learn that Safesport was trying to say, but it wasn't maybe the moment to say it. But I think that's... Anyway, it's just like a really kind of disheartening thing. That's so... Agreed.
Yeah.
And Bridget made imperfect statements that she probably shouldn't have said either when she was on Facebook. So that is...
It's also dealing with a very serious issue with heightened emotions, with perhaps a lot of people that have limitations based on their isolated upbringing and their lack of perspective or worldview based on such an insular sport. And it's not to say that they're bad for being so insular. It's the nature of being homeschooled, living at a rink, doing these kinds of, it's a very unusual bubble.
I actually texted a skater when they were responding, and I said, like, I'm not judging, like, guilty, innocent, but I think there's more here that you may not know, right? Because everyone in Colorado thought it was just one person in the beginning, and that's who they were attacking.
I think the major point is no one really knew. No. So why was everyone quick?
Or everyone half knows something, or doesn't know this, or they think, well, this person thought that was okay. Like, there's so much, like...
Instead of the bigger picture, which is so important, which is how does one move forward? How does one really look at the sport to make sure everyone is safe?
Yeah. And there's also... The other thing is that I think everyone assumes that male figure skaters are gay. But when they're not, right? And you have a pair boy coming up, there are so few pair boys and so many girls who want to be lifted and their parents want them to keep their careers going. And maybe they're not going to make it in singles. And maybe they have a gift for pairs or a talent. And they're often younger than the partners. You know, these people are getting everything paid for. You know, they may not come from money. John's family didn't have a ton of money. You know, the skating clubs get behind them. They're kind of bred to be gods. You know, these men. And the parents pay for the training. How often does the female skater's family pay for the male in a lot of these situations where there's an imbalance there? And then they live with them, perhaps. So your living costs, then
and it's gifts. Tricky. It's tricky in this gray area because I'll tell you, it reminds me a little of like in music back in the day. You would live with your teacher. I mean, like way back in like the 1800s and stuff. You would live with your teacher. You'd take a lesson every day in their home. You would, you know what I mean? It was such a different kind of thing. So on one hand, you're like, how many people? Midori was living with her coach.
Yeah.
In all of that
Sarah Hughes was staying with Robin sometimes. Yeah. And Sasha did too. Yeah.
Yeah. And you see Christy traveling with...
she lived with Christy Nass, right?
Yeah.
And maybe that was okay. Like it wasn't bad for everyone, but it could be bad for some people. That's the thing. Like it's not...
It's hard when you do it on such like a large systematic scale. You do have to have some rules and things like that. It's just such an ugly situation, and it just makes my heart break. And you think about those dynamics in general in a pairs team when they're so young. If you go back to how insecure everyone was as they're changing, like, I don't know, 10 to 14 somewhere, it's all so uncomfortable and weird. And I don't mean to blow the secret, as a young gay kid, was always more comfortable around women. Yeah. So if I had been pairs with a girl, we would have probably been besties. There's something charming about Ashley and Tim's dynamic.
Yeah.
Or even Megan and Eric are just like two individual people doing their thing and they work together. But I would imagine if you were both straight and you were both 12 and 13 and you were placed together, how awkward so many of those situations could be just as a baseline, let alone if someone starts futzing with that hierarchy.
And there's such a disturbing thing in these sports, too, where someone's success, like, validates them. Like, your worth as a person is, like, defined by your result. So then you could just say that, like, the tax, if someone comes forward who isn't famous, because the understanding I have is that there are other names out here that may be, like, collegiate skaters, or they may be skaters of a different ilk, right?
But then it becomes that very easy defense of they're looking for fame. And
maybe they were synchro, and maybe, they're a bitter former person of this, and that becomes a real tricky thing. And I even saw it when I would travel with Jenny. Like, there were people that would, look, she's got a lot of glamour and star power, but there are certain skaters you could tell that are a little damaged, and that, like, when they see a more famous person, that's like an esteem thing. Like, it's a validation to be accepted and to be acknowledged. And
to be in certain circles. Yeah.
And that's what happens in, like, an isolated kind of community like that. And then there are the people that used to be skaters that, like, idolize someone who they were partnered with, or something like that, and it becomes like a weird dynamic when everyone's holding on. So it'll be really interesting over to see what comes of this, and
just in systematic changes that may happen also to the organization and the way it's run.
But on Bridget's page, there were literally, like, Russian bots that were now getting involved when someone, like, has a Me Too claim, and then there were people that were, it's called doxing, I think, where someone's, like, you start to post someone's, like, address and place of work when people comment, and, like, the toxicity is, like, in...
To do what? I just don't... It's like lynch mob mentality. It's horrifying.
Yeah. So, I mean, yeah.
Oof, I hope you have a fun topic to end on after that.
I know. Look, one day I'll talk about why I took the YouTube channel down for 5 days, because it wasn't about the skating people. Okay.
Yeah, exactly. We got links. I think everyone knows that.
No, really. So
really.
No.
Oh.
We got linked in a video that was, like, about, it was being twisted in something like in, like, extreme right-wing views, and it started getting messages, and it was enough. Like, because that becomes, like, beyond skating, that you start to get it linked to, like, if Fox News picks this up, like, what is going to happen? Like...
where certain people will incite that lynch mob. They know exactly what they're doing. Yeah.
So. Yeah. So, on a fun note,
thank God.
William Tran, who is an adult skater, longtime skating fan, he is, like, I always said, as soon as he became involved with this club, I'm like, he is going to run U.S. figure skating one day. And Jonathan, he really is going to do it. He's that kind of climber. You could tell he climbs to the top of any organization. He is a definite power gay, like, definite craves it, like, just needs to do it, like... His adult skating career is, like, very serious, as every adult skating career is, okay? It's, like, full throttle. You know it.
Okay.
Like, and I saw that he passed his test for free skate, but wasn't going to send it in yet, because then you have to compete at the higher level. Once it becomes official and registered with US.
Okay.
Yes, so this is, like, a real wheeler and dealer. And it was on Jeopardy! And he's an attorney, and he works for different TV networks, but he definitely let it be known that he is a figure skater and a member of the community. So I think we need to give snaps to anyone who's on Jeopardy! My good friend Denise, who I work with, won Jeopardy! One day and then lost day 2 to Ted Sitting Crow, and we got to watch the whole thing. I was mesmerized. So
Fascinating.
William Tran made it to Jeopardy. He kept it under wraps. We had no idea.
What would your game show be, Dave, if you had to go on a game show?
Okay, so I actually once sent in a tape, and it went to my spam that I got accepted to have the big test for it. Is that I want to be on Wheel of Fortune. I want to win that.
Wheel of Fortune would be mine. Wheel of Fortune.
You know I love a word puzzle,
Yeah, me too.
And people have said that they think I should do the $50,000 pyramid. That could be my moment.
Yes, I think you would be excellent at that. No, it's 100 now.
100 now. Okay.
Oh, it just doubled, Dave. Do it.
I know. I don't want the host to be like that guy that used to host with Kelly Ripa. I would like an Alec Baldwin type. I want to keep Alec happy. But I think he has a great... there are problems with Alec, but I think he's got a great appreciation for theater and performance, and I love his voice on his podcast. So he's a great interviewer. I would like something like that. Yeah. How about you? What would your game show be?
Wheel of Fortune, 100%.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I would be crap at Jeopardy.
I would be horrible at Jeopardy. So yeah. I'm impressed by
anyone. Oh, and maybe Family Feud, except I can't be dumb enough for some of those lower level answers.
I always wanted to do Family Double Dare as a kid. I thought it looked so much fun.
You wanted the slime. Okay.
And you'd be going through the Jaws looking for that flag. It was always oh my god,
it was disgusting. It was disgusting.
I've always wanted to do that. I still think I'd be great. And also Legends of the Hidden Temple. I think you're too old for it, but in my day there was this show on Nickelodeon called Legends of the Hidden Temple, and you had to run through the temple, and there were these creepy temple guards who seemed like rapists, and they were always hiding in the dark forest, and it was always the lights were. But let me tell you, you had to put this stupid statue together, and I don't even care if I would win or lose because I think it's impossible to win. I think it was kind of rigged, but I would love to be on Legends of the Hidden Temple even as an adult. Okay, I've always wanted to climb the aggro crag on Guts, but I know that I wouldn't win Guts.
Then you know what you need to do, Dave? My favorite show that was a guilty pleasure, when I was in college, was MXC. The Most Extreme Elimination Challenge, and it's a Japanese television show. The video footages of Takeshi's Castle or something like that.
Oh.
And then what happens is it's dubbed over, and they tried to do Ninja Warrior or something. That's too intense.
I'm not doing any of those CrossFit things. That's too
No, this was a remedial, hilarious, epic fail version of that, where people would have to jump on floating blocks in a pond and fall down and take these absurd falls, and it's absolutely hilarious. I'm going to send you some clips.
I've always wanted to do Big Brother, although I fear that I would start hating everyone in the house and saying really terrible things after a while. And I think the pressure and what could come out of my mouth is not good. I shouldn't do it. But I would love all of those games, the stupid games that they play on there. I think it looks really fun, and I have a mind for strategy. And I've always wanted to do Big Brother, but I think, Jonathan, that we should go on The Amazing Race together.
But isn't that athletic?
It's athletic but fun. It's world geography, and I feel you visited everywhere as a child on vacation. So
I do like that part. It's the you wouldn't want me as your partner if I was expected to be overly athletic.
We would be working out every day before that.
Okay. Fair enough.
Yoga and CrossFit and everything. Okay, Megan Duhamel and Aliona will be training us for hopefully there's a lead up time.
I would do Megan's thing, that lean.
Oh, the eccentrics? Yeah.
Yes, that I would do. But the CrossFit scares me, even though some opera people do it, because of all the neck strain. You think about all those guys that are ah! And I'm oh my God, I can't do that. And that's been my excuse for years, and I'm sticking to it.
Now, a couple times I've shared the Pilates teacher that everyone in Montreal goes to because Megan went to her, and she did the Arbonne cleanse that I do. Her name is Leslie Angeles, and she was on the Georgia team for gymnastics, and then she was in Cirque du Soleil and is now a Montreal type person. And now all the ice dancers and pair skaters go to her, and they all post, and apparently she's incredible. So I sent Tim Coletto a video of her. I'm you need to see her floor routine to Prodigy. And, mind was blown. Okay? like, I love these worlds crossing over. I told you, gymnastics, skating, same flippin' sport, okay?
Yeah.
Larissa Petrick had the Peggy Fleming beehive, okay? She gave you beehive, all right?
Except, moment of honesty, I think Peggy's was more like big, tall, and Larissa's was really all-encompassing there. Like, it was almost a turban of hair. It was amazing. It was amazing.
And the ending of that floor routine is fantastic.
It was incredible. And the foot, like, it's like arched and never moved. Incredible. You should share that link because I loved it so much.
I will. We'll do it. All right?
Okay. On that
Pull it edge and look sexy. Bye, guys.